Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnyTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnyTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Replay Guitar Exchange is your premier independent guitar store. Being independent is good. With all of the major brands, including new, vintage, and pre-owned, you can find the guitar, bass, amp, or accessory you are dreaming of. From vintage to the newest models, Replay Guitar Exchange can help you find that perfect piece. They have industry veteran expert staff, all players like you down to the owner. You aren't just getting a great guitar, you're getting the Replay difference. Find them online at replayguitar.com and find your dream guitar today. RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dirt fucker!
Party time!
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. Got AJ Benza in the studio. Going to get to him in just a second. Make sure you guys do hit up all of that great social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On my quest for 1 million followers. Not exactly there. Not even close. But, you know, you gotta beg for it every once in a while. Brand new t-shirts available if you go to the Facebook page, which is another effing podcast. Click that shop now link if you want to donate to the show. That is very, very easy as well. Just simply hit that PayPal thing, izzypresley@yahoo.com. And what else do we got coming up next Thursday night? Catch me doing stand-up comedy here in Hollywood at the Grafton. Punchlines and Backlines are a great show where we take one musician and have him do stand-up comedy for the very first time. This month we have Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat as our featured musician doing stand-up, and headliner is Earl Skakel. Yes, from the Jellies and Roast Battle. So it should be a very, very good show. And, of course, the night before Thanksgiving, Soundcheck Live, the very last show of the year, will be at Lucky Strike. No cover, as always, for Lotso is going to put on an amazing show. You catch me hosting that as I do every month, and that is going to be a fucking blast. Ladies and gentlemen, finally getting in studio. And AJ, before we get going here, I have to say something.
Sure.
Very, very important from the hearts of all Minnesota Twins fans. Fuck the Yankees.
Fuck the Astros for cheating. It's getting worse and worse. It looks like they uncovered this secret whistling they were doing against the Yankees.
Really?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people were saying Astros are cheaters. They found the camera in center field, and they were relaying things, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't prove it. You know, there's one thing is you steal signs. A lot of people steal signs. But this stealing signs with a camera in center field and then somebody in the dugout whistling what the pitch is going to be to the batter, and they uncovered a video today of those whistles during the game, during the playoffs.
Shit.
So there's going to be trouble. They're going to have fines to pay, and it's ugly. It's not a good way to win, and they won the World Series like that.
Well, you know, Jesse
years
the Body Ventura always said it best. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it. they do everything they can to win. When teams are so evenly matched like that, it really comes down after 162 games and more. A play here, a play there. It's if one of your guys bats 130 instead of 250, it's everything.
It is.
And we got next year. I mean, listen. I can take when we lose because they've made me happy for a long time. The Yankees. So Minnesota, I don't know what to say. We just got the number. It's just weird.
I used to be a sports writer.
Oh, me too.
And I remember because I covered the Twins, I covered the Wild, Vikings, Timberwolves, all that shit.
Yeah.
And I did a story one year about the Twins versus the Yankees, and it was the entire longevity of the Twins,
right.
And it was brutal.
It's terrible
all the way through.
Yeah, I don't get it. Some teams just have the other team's numbers, and not for nothing, they also helped us with trades back in the day as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah, not good, not good.
I always say it's like you could take the Twins. The best Twins team ever. Put them in the 27 Yankees uniforms and put the 27 Yankees in this, 68 Mets? Is that the worst team of all time?
68 was the worst, yeah.
They'd still beat the Twins.
They still scared me this year. The Twins were scary going in. The home run record. They looked really good.
Well, it just goes back to the fact that it's pitching and defense that wins. You know, you can hit.
Yeah,
and I hate this. It's just all fucking home runs. It's like
I know.
It's a video game. I
know.
can't stand it.
No,
it's in every sport.
Nobody bunts anymore. No hit and runs. It's all jacket out. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I know. But listen, hey, at least they're still in it. At least they're in it every year. They get, that's good.
Yeah, but
makes the summer fun.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 championships in our history, and we'll take them. Vikings lose every fucking year.
Oh, they were. I was number 44 in high school because of Foreman.
Oh, really?
Oh,
wow.
yeah. I grabbed 44. I loved it. But I was just saying something the other day. I'm such a lucky kid to grow up. Well, when I was a kid, New York, Long Island, the amount of championship teams we had when I was growing up. Yeah, the Mets weren't my team, but they still won it all a couple of years. The Yankees were shitty early on. Then from 76 right up until God knows when, they were always in it. They won championships. The Giants won. The Giants won titles. The Islanders won 4 Stanley Cups.
Oh, that's
right.
The
Knicks won a couple. I mean, for a kid in New York, there was always action going on. I couldn't imagine what it's like living in Buffalo.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's fucking brutal.
God.
I know.
Oh God!
But I think it does something to you as a kid. Like you grew up with a little more attitude, and when there was a big championship fight, it was at Madison Square Garden. So we were in New York again. Yeah, that's the big city thing.
I think I figured out the algorithm with New York sports too. If you're a Yankees fans, you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, Giants, Rangers, Yankees, Knicks. Yeah, I mean, I'm still a Knicks fan. It's disgusting what's happened. They're never going to get good. My father used to. He couldn't stand George Steinbrenner, and he would come home and he put a hex on the team. They're never going to fucking win. That guy owns it. Steinbrenner was doing all he could to make us win, but I feel the same way about Dolan, the New York Knicks. This fucking idiot, what he's done to this franchise, he's making a fortune. Doesn't matter if we win. It's sold out every night. It's such an embarrassment. And then, of course, we didn't get all the big special guys, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. We lost those guys. We've got nothing. In fact, tonight, our big unicorn comes back. Kristaps Porzingis comes back to play us at the Garden. It's going to be gross.
Yeah, I really got a bad taste in my mouth for basketball after covering it.
Basketball's a different kind of sport. What did it do to you?
It was just so selfish. I started calling it me ball.
Really?
Because it's more about the name on the back of the jersey than it is on the front. And I can't remember the fucking player's name, but he was a big guy, but he was terrible. I think he had one good game. And he was just a dick.
Yeah.
And it was the last game of the season. Timberwolves fucking sucked they do every year.
Yeah.
And it was one of the rookies was getting his sneaker signed by everybody on the team, and he's like, whatever, and left. It's like, dude, that's your fucking teammate.
Terrible.
You won't see that shit in hockey.
No. And you know what? They're all individual businesses now.
Yeah.
And once you get that big Nike or Under Armour contract, it doesn't mean the same. I like you're talking about teamwork. Look at the way the Celtics, Larry Bird, the Lakers, even the old Knicks, the teamwork aspect of the game, the unselfishness, whoever had the last pass took the shot. When you got guys like Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony and all these guys, the ball dies in their hands.
Yep.
Even James Harden, who's phenomenal, but how many times he's got to walk up the court and shoot a 35-footer? It goes in. But is that the basketball you want to see every night?
No, it's one-on-one. It's fucking terrible.
No.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
One of the reasons I wanted to get you on is one because I love your podcast, which is called "Fame Is a Bitch," and I'm not a Patreon guy, but I listen to all three.
I'm not
every
here
day.
to put. I got like we just talked about. I got Patreon. It's okay. I'm not home beating my head about it. I got people who pay. That's fine. But I like the people who tune in on a regular basis. I love it because eventually, little by little, they come over the page. Even if you check it out for a month or two and you go back, I don't get mad at that. I dig it. It's all good. But you want to talk about Eddie Van Halen? I know.
I know.
Chomping at the bit about Eddie.
I know, because that's how we connected.
I know.
You're the guy that you broke the story.
Yeah.
It was a couple weeks, 3 weeks before TMZ.
Yeah.
Of course, right after you broke it, I sent it to Eddie Trunk, and he went around. One
of those stories I don't want to be right about. And
I know.
Look, you say gravely ill. You're trying to. I mean. Cancer's a tough thing. You know, my sister died of it 3 years ago, almost 3. And up until the week before she died, she wasn't in the hospital. She was getting treated. She was at the table. Yeah, she'd gained weight from the prednisone and that kind of crap. We've all had cancer in our families. I'm sure you know what it looks like and what it feels like. And then suddenly, a turn for the worse, in the hospital and dead within 4 days.
Yeah, it's insane.
So I don't know if that's what Eddie's facing. I sure hope not. But there's no question he's ill, and he's been undergoing different treatments over the years. He's just kept it very quiet.
Yeah.
And he's gone to New York, and he's gone different places, and they've kept a lid on it. But,
Well, and this is my thing with it, and Eddie's has a great point about this, too. It's that Van Halen is so quiet about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like it was a year ago, and Olivia Newton-John, there was rumors going around that she was dying. There was a video on fucking Facebook and on the internet like that. Like, look, I'm okay.
I know, but I don't think she is either. I think she's selling all the clothes and shit now. And something's up. But she's had cancer a couple times.
Yeah.
It's sad. I give him a lot of credit for keeping it under wraps. And, look, I heard my rumors, and then I just, on top of the rumor, you got David Lee Roth talking really bad shit. Listen, I'm the face of Van Halen now. Eddie's not going to be around. If you've got to look at him, like just nasty shit. And you start tying 2 and 2 together as a journalist. Not that hard. People tell you, I saw him out. He looked like hell, and it's not an easy story to write. I don't like writing it because I've been around cancer. My parents had died from it. My sister, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
Well, I think it's like, one, he's got a family, so obviously that's the most important thing. But as fans, we want. It's like my roommate who's on this show, Matt Larson, every once in a while, every time a video or a photo pops up on social media, he sends it to me. He's like, see?
I know.
See?
And listen,
like,
I hope I'm wrong. I'm looking at a picture now. Is that the one at the bar or something?
No, this is the one. This is from, I think yesterday.
You didn't send that to me? I thought.
No, this is at a spinal
He looks
spinal
good
doctor.
there.
Yeah.
He looks good there. Maybe whatever he's on to now is working and he's in some kind of remission. I don't know. Again, I hope I'm wrong. But I know that when the story got out there, Eddie's camp and people started putting pictures out right away.
Yeah.
They didn't call me back. None of his reps called me back and wanted to talk about it. Not even Valerie Bertinelli's reps wanted to talk about it. That's a bad sign. Mainly you think I'm onto something. I got it. As a journalist. And then, and look, I grew up with Van Halen. We used to get psyched up before we did anything. We had to listen to Van Halen sing. Oh God, Running with the Devil. I forget what album that was. I forget the name of the album.
The first one, Van Halen.
Yeah, the first one, right? Just phenomenal. But I had a memory of Eddie. I put it on my show. I used to go coast to coast, New York to L.A. and back for a weekend, have fun out here, and go back to New York when nightlife was fun. 95, 96, 97, and rush back to New York. New York was off the chain. It was fucking great. And I would fly Continental, and Eddie Van Halen was on a flight once, and I would take my little dog with me. And I would take all sorts of pills when I flew. I was really in the midst of my hazy days, and he was too. And he's next to me in first class, and he's having red wine nonstop. Just good, because he's a rock star. I wanted to see that. And he held my dog, and he was telling me about how he built his first guitar. Great, great stuff. So believe me, I didn't want to write the story, but that's too big a story to let go.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And like I said, it's like, look, give us something.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect your privacy, and I did a show where I'm like, dude, I got an open mic for you. I know it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But, just make some kind of statement. You know?
I think I would if it was about me. I know I would. I know if there were reports of my death that's imminent, I pretty sure I'd make it my point to be heard that I'm not dying.
Yeah.
But then again, if you don't do that, it's probably because you have suffered from a disease and maybe it's come back and it's manifested itself in a different region of your body. And you don't want to hex, like Alex Trebek a few months ago, I cringed because he said, he didn't say he beat pancreatic cancer, but he said, I'm fine. I did it. And I said, oh, don't fucking say you, just don't. Because pancreatic cancer, that doesn't fuck around. And of course, it's back, and he's back getting treatment. He's doing the show, and it's very emotional now. You basically know we're going to lose Trebek soon, but he's going to work until that day happens.
Yeah.
So I would say something, but some of these guys are just real private till the end. And I guess even his son hasn't said nothing. His son won't say nothing.
Well,
right?
I'm sure his son is under locks pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably why the Wolfie's record hasn't come out.
That's
He's got
what I was going to say.
that's done.
You must know about that. The record's done. I think if he went out, everybody would ask him about his father, not the music.
Yep.
So it doesn't behoove him to push it out yet. It's not going to get the response he wants. It's going to be about how's your father.
Yeah, well, and I know, like, before Dave announced his thing up in Vegas, like, every time he did an interview, that was part of the thing. It's like, we can't talk about the future of it. We can talk about the history. We can't talk about the future, you know? I mean, now Dave's out there being Dave.
I know, I know. And what's the point of saying I'm the face of it? Like, does he think we wouldn't think that way? Like, of course, it's David Lee Roth. I mean, whatever differences that they've had over the years and the Sammy Hagar thing, he's still David Lee Roth. Like, he's still Van Halen.
Yeah.
I mean, don't real rock fans think that way? I mean, I know he went off the rails for a while, and he's David Lee. The fucking, what was he? What do you call it? The ambulance guy.
Yeah, he was an EMT.
Paramedic, EMT. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy shit. He's a crazy motherfucker. I love him, but he does have a bad personality when he can be shitty. But, I guess when you're so close, like brothers almost, we've all heard stories about bands that are usually successful where two guys just have butted heads constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those guys were two more famous ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they were touring, there's no way in hell that they were on the same bus, yada, yada, yada. Actually, when I used to cover the Timberwolves, I remember seeing one of the Van Halen fucking, the Rider. And it said dressing room 1 cannot be within 50 feet of dressing room 2 and 3.
Look at that shit. You believe that? See, that's things a lot of fans don't know. Like, Yankees had a pitcher, Mike Messina, who came from Baltimore. Great, really smart, heady pitcher. Probably a Hall of Famer. He's on the edge. He might have got inducted recently, but if not, he'll get in next time. And it was something about Messina I just didn't like, even though he was really good. Turns out he didn't fly with the team during those years we were in the World Series. Like, we didn't know that as fans. You go, because I wasn't covering the Yankees, or else I'd know. But yeah, that's something I would like to know. Oh, he's not flying with the team? Fuck you. He is too smart. Stanford guy. Can't mix with the Dominican Republic guys who never got educated in college.
that's bullshit.
I think that's the way I think. Because those guys come out of the neighborhood, no college. They just play ball their whole lives and they get drafted. And he's a guy, Stanford educated. That's big time. So yeah, that happens a lot in sports. I'll tell you, the other thing that happened that I didn't break this story, but I definitely put it out in the newsroom many years ago when the Mets had Dwight Gooden, and the year that Gooden, it was just phenomenal. And I had a buddy of mine who I grew up with who suddenly got into cocaine, and I had not touched it yet, and he couldn't put it down. And I'm telling you, the movie Scarface changed his life, for real. He saw that movie, and within a week or two, he knew where to get coke to sell it. He was in the gym working out. He had palm trees by his bed like Montana. And I saw him getting high all the time, and he would sweat. And I saw Dwight Gooden on the mound one day sweating too much, and I said to the newsroom, that's too much sweat for the second inning. I said, I wonder if he's doing coke. And I mean, everybody, it's 1980, it was early in the 85. Oh, come on. It was like an unheard of. So I don't know, that's sweat. And, we let it go. They win the World Series. He misses the fucking ticket tape parade. Well, no, Dwight was sick. He couldn't make it. Then it turns out, no, he went and got crack, and he was just never went to bed and stayed in the room with crack, missed the ticker tape parade, and now his problems still persist 30 years later. Yeah. But I remember floating out in the newsroom about, I don't know, it's sweaty, cocaine, things like that kind of get out. I forget where that came from. We were talking about, Messina, things know about in a newsroom perhaps that the general public doesn't know. So maybe someplace in the rock world, I mean, there's got to be guys in the rock world that are one step closer than you are that know. You know, I called a few guys that are removed a few, you know, not a generation, but a couple of decades behind, and they didn't know. But initially the tip I got was from somebody deep in music, and they weren't giving it to me to sell them out. It was like a passing comment.
Right.
But those passing comments a lot are more intriguing than, hey, I got a tip, I got a story. The passing comment is like, yeah, no, it's a sad story. You know, Eddie's going through some cancer shit, and you go, okay, all right, Christ. And then a few calls later, and then no calls returned. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, no, dude, I get it. And like I said, as a fan, you just don't want this.
No.
You know?
But he's lived his life like a crazy motherfucker.
Absolutely,
you
like
know?
A fucking rock and roller should.
I know. It's getting very scary. Well, I'm 57 now, and I don't know. I just, the people are fucking dropping and dying, and it's getting like, I'm starting to think about how do I want to go? Like, do you want to go in the hospital for being sick for 2 or 3 years, and then eventually you die? Imagine that. Having to get the medicines, and your fucking wife caring for you, and your kids seeing you. Or do you want to just get a stroke in the street? Even if it's like, but I got friends who've died recently, and you're like, oh my, heart attack, you know. And then there are friends who kill themselves, like rich friends who shot themselves on their boat in Miami. Why? He had a boat a block long. A lot of problems. It's fucking scary.
No, it really is. I mean, I think about that shit all the time. I mean, I'm 47. You're 10 years older than me, but it's like
the next 10 years the next 10 years you'll feel, because 50 is when I needed to put glasses on to read, not to drive yet. But I'll tell you, I don't like driving at night. I can't see the signs as well as I used to. I let my wife drive. She's your age, so she drives. I feel like a pussy because I never liked when a woman drives and a man does nothing. I used to always sit in my yard, and when a wife drove down the street and the husband was next, I'd say, "What a fucking pussy! Like, you drive your car." No, now I'm like, you drive. I'm not going to fucking drive 2 hours to Palm Springs at night. You do it.
Yeah.
I don't dig it anymore.
Well, see, I drive Lyft, so I drive nights.
Oh, you drive at night?
Yeah, I drive nights just because fucking traffic out here. It's
disgusting.
It's just, I'm not going to sit in traffic and not make the same amount of money. Fuck that shit.
When I lost all my money and I went back to Long Island, live with my sister, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? I got my hack license and drove a cab on Long Island. And it's the fucking worst existence. I mean, the people who do it are guys at the end of their rope. The guys you work with, like I had to do it for some. These guys were lifers. They were doing it for 25, 30 years. Miserable fucking guys. Hated everybody. And I'm showing up there with like a little confidence and, hey, I'm going to do this for a few months. And like, yeah, okay, sure. And it was just hot summertime. Nobody taking cabs. Sometimes I'd work 12 hours, 13 hours, and make like $35.
Jesus
the worst.
Christ.
And then you pay for gas. You keep the tips, but no one really tips. Long Island's a lot of short drives, $3, $4 drives. They don't give, I would hustle. I'd get a call and I'd meet the person and I'd say to the person, this is going to be a $15 share. Why don't you cancel it? I'll take you to that place for 10. Just cancel the cab. I did so much of that hustling. But then you got to get worried because they still could call you on a car. Well, now they've got things in the car. They know where you're going, so that's over. Yep. But back then, that's only 8 years ago.
So you had talked about this on your show, but this was after the E-show.
Oh, yeah.
So this is after the E-show. Yeah. You were driving cab and you worked at a Best Buy.
Best Buy, man. Both at the same time. Best Buy and the cab. And not for nothing, it took months to go, I got to do this. It took months for me to think, well, this deal's going to come through. That's going to come through. And my brother-in-law, who's 20 years older than I am, and was, phenomenal guy, it's like my father, he just lit into me one night. You got to fucking work. You got to go out. You got to just move. You're sitting around waiting, lit a fire under my ass. And then, I'm at Best Buy and driving the cab, 18-hour days. And I tell you, I'm at Best Buy and you can't write this. The movie I was in, Rocky Balboa, comes out on DVD. So now I was in the TV department. I didn't know TVs, but at least I'm on TV. I know something about them.
Right.
And the TVs around our area are all showing Rocky Balboa. And by this time I was okay with working there. I'd moved up to a point where the young guys looked up to me. They loved my stories.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to approach me because they knew me from Howard Stern. Once they knew I had a lot of shit to say, they were like, oh, I'm working with AJ tonight. This is so much fun. But to see yourself, people were doing double takes. You're in the movie. That's you. and my fucking name tag, AJ, with the blue shirt. You know, I used to walk in the bathroom and just sit in the bowl and be like, I can't fucking believe I'm here, man. I can't believe I'm here. But you know what? It's just life. If I wasn't there, if I wasn't in that cab, I wouldn't have written my book. I wouldn't have written it so quickly and eventually got a deal for a book deal, enough money to leave New York, get a place in LA, and then finish the book and get the other half. And the book, I wrote the screenplay, that got optioned for a movie. Enough money to get me up and out. But if I didn't fall on my ass, I'm not sure I would have rushed that book. I wouldn't have found it. But because I was at my sister's house and sitting in that backyard, because that was my old house. We lived next door as a kid. She bought the house next to it. So there was a fence separating our house. And I looked at the gate that we used to all walk through to go from one house to the other. And I'm looking at the gate, and I started thinking of this wonderful summer of 1974. And when we had my little gay cousin who was 10 came to stay with us because his father wanted to make a man out of him. He was nervous he was gay, like his older brother. And he thought if he stays at our house, because our house was crazy, my father was a real macho guy, it'll snap him out of being gay. We'll fix him. And of course we couldn't fix him. We accepted him. But that's the genesis of the book. And so I can't really curse it. It happened. I was foolish with my money. I fucking took care of everybody. I gave it away. Forget it. But I never knew when I was spending it and making it that I was going to meet a girl, have a family so quickly. If I had known, hindsight, I would have put something away. But you couldn't have told me nothing back then.
Well, I mean, I think that just goes to show what this town can do to you.
Oh, it's
like you're top of the world all of a sudden.
And you know something? Yeah. And if that didn't happen to me, there would be no podcast. There would be no Fame as a Bitch. There'd be no me telling stories to people, which I love doing. It doesn't bother me. I'm not embarrassed about it. I went to work for my family. I had to feed my kids. And how many guys we grew up with had regular fucking jobs? You know, they look at me, you know, like, it's not embarrassing. Just go get money. Go make money. It's so easy, but your fucking stupid head when you're on television and in movies and meeting famous people, you go, well, I can't work there. How will it appear? Who gives a shit? But, you know, it is a real thing. And when I had the money and was going crazy with it, I wasn't making millions, but making a lot of money for a single guy. And, you know, went everywhere up my nose, liquor, girls, trips to Europe, trips to the Caribbean, giving it away to people. Every girl with a sob story got a check when they met me. Like, it was constant. So it's no one's fault. No one robbed me.
Yeah.
I didn't have a girl who drained me. It wasn't a divorce. It was just me being fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you know, like we were talking about before we came on, it's like, yeah, but it was fun.
It was the best. It was great. You know, flying to Paris to stop a model from marrying Prince Albert, like just on a whim. Christ. Yeah, just going like, I was in love with this model named Tasha. I don't want to say out of my league because we did date. And I wouldn't have stayed with her because she was like upper crust, rich family, Portuguese, South African. Just forget it. And she knew all these Formula One drivers and shit, like a different world. But she liked hanging out with the street guy, and we had fun. And one day she tells me, you know, Prince Albert is onto her, and he's like, he knows her from her vacationing, and he wants to marry her. And she'd be a great princess. I mean, perfect. Tasha Vasconcelos, beautiful. And I'm like, but he was like a fag, half a fag. I said, Tasha, he only wants you to. Well, I didn't say this yet. She told me that she's in Paris. I said to my buddy, we got to go to Paris. I got to stop Tasha from marrying Prince Albert. And only my buddy Rocco would understand that. And he said, okay, let's go. 2 days later, we're in a plane going to Paris. We didn't know where we were going to stay. Nothing. I mean, nothing. I had no number for her. This is before the internet. Got a number, found a lady who was a model booker, knew Tasha, gave me a number. I called the number. I had no fucking answering machine in this little place we stayed in. But I stayed in for 3 days till she called me back. What are you doing here? I met Roman Polanski through a friend. He gave me a restaurant to take it to. Just crazy shit. And I convinced her not to marry him. Convinced her. It's in my first book. Convinced her he wants to just keep the municipality going. And You know, he needs a son. She didn't marry him. I mean, just crazy stories like that. And then recently, Robert Evans died, the famous producer. And when I first got out here, I lived with him. Even before I lived here, I would come here like 95, 96 and stay with him weeks on end. And, you know, hanging out with Warren Beatty and Nicholson and just a ton of women, beautiful girls. And letting me in the circle, letting me hear the stories. It was a really heady time.
That was a great episode,
Yeah,
by the way.
the Evans
That
stuff-
was a very good episode.
Thank you. The Evans stuff, I'm afraid to post this, but I have to eventually. I'll show you the picture. I eventually one day, because I was always in Evan's bedroom, Bob, he lays in his bed all day, and that's where you hang and talk. He works there. He takes his phone calls there. It's a fucking California king, furs on it. It's crazy. And he had all those pill bottles on the side because he was a big fucking drug taker.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a bottle of Ambien. And I'll find a picture, but I have a bottle with his name on it, Robert Evans, and the address, Ambien. It's classic. It should be in the Smithsonian, I'm afraid to post it because I don't want it to come across as cheap that I took his bottle of pills. But it's definitely an homage to him. I think people will get it.
Right.
I'm waiting for the memorial, but I told a quick story. I'll tell you people a quick story. I'm hanging out there. I was dating this beautiful model in New York, and lo and behold, Trump sunk his teeth into her, right? Well, I was in L.A. working for weeks on end for the E! Show. She's alone in New York. Two to tango, but still, he fucking put the rush on her, and he got her. And she was seeing both of us kind of, and it was fucking me up, and we're breaking up, and Evans goes, why don't you come out to the living room and watch a movie with me, Jack, and Warren? I said, well, I'm writing an email to Cara, and this is what AOL, when it took time for the internet to go, that shit.
Good old days.
Fucking horrible. And let me write this email. He says, she dumped you. I said, no, we're just taking a break. It's going to be fine. She dumped you. He said, I was dumped by Lana Turner and Ava Gardner before I was 25. You got
Jesus
dumped.
Christ.
I mean, so you hear like a guy like that say it.
Yeah.
And then Warren Beatty, he looks at Warren. What do you think? And Warren goes, well, it's pussy power, man. It's really strong, And Jack goes, best way to get over a girl is to get under another one. And I just said, okay, well, this is the best advice of all time. These three guys. Right. And I forgot to mention, they all appeared at the door. Jack was high. Evans was high. Warren Beatty, no. He's a straight edge guy. But those guys were fucking having a ball. So, I think when I had to go work in a cab stand and Best Buy, I brought with me those stories of the real high times.
Yeah.
And that's what made it harder to go, wow, But then when I went back to L.A. and I'd meet Bob and tell him my story, they were all proud. Like, they're all like, well, good for you. Fuck them. You had to do something. You did it. Now you're going to get better. You're going to get stronger. You're going to have stories to tell. And they're right. But when you're going through it, it is like, it's a terrible feeling. But, your kids don't. It was like, I remember stealing toys because I didn't have the money to buy toys for my kid. And you're working at Best Buy, so you're seeing these little things that kids are all playing with. And I'm like, I got to have that. I fucking had baggy chinos, and I had stuffed toys in my sock on the way out. Fuck it. I mean, the things we do. What can I tell you? Crazy.
Exactly. Oh, Jacobus checking in from Florida. Bruce checking in from Canada. I got hosers and scumbags that listen to my show, and I love them. I fucking love them.
I like it.
You know who else was a huge fucking cocksmith in this town too?
Who?
Billy Vera.
Wow, I'd never heard. I don't know much about him.
Oh my! Listen to his book on tape. It is
really
unbelievable. And he said something on this show that he wouldn't say the name in his book. He talked about this waitress from the Viper Room, and she came to his house and she cleaned his house and Demi Moore.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Billy Vera, I gotta check
Billy
that
Vera,
out.
dude. His story is insane. He's a New York guy.
Yeah.
He started out. He had the kind of same story as you almost.
Really?
He had this huge success. Part of the very first integrated couple to ever play the Apollo. His picture's still on the fucking wall there. He had a number one hit with Ricky Nelson. And just wrote a whole bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Then he fucking hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Moved back to his mom's basement.
Yeah, same shit.
And some guy saw him singing in a fucking Holiday Inn. And was like, Vera, what the fuck are you doing? And
That's
then
great.
He ended up writing At This Moment.
This moment, it's great. The problem is a lot of us wait for that moment. We think someone's going to see us and go, you shouldn't be doing this. I got something for you. And that's what makes you get lazy. After I moved back to L.A., before I went to New York, it's when I first came back. The book money still wasn't with me, but we got a house over here in Burbank, not in first place, and I still needed dough. And my brother, I was living with before I got the house in Burbank. We had to stay at my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law's house in Studio City in their basement. Me, my wife, and two kids are sleeping in a California King, 4 of us. And my buddy goes, I'm going to produce a movie. We're going to raise money. I said, I don't know how to do that. No, we're going to raise money. I got the rights to a book, a children's book. We can make money with this. I never knew how to do this, produce a movie. He goes, no, I've done it before. I'm going to give you a pitch. Trust me. We'll talk to investors. And picking the phone up and calling rich people. Well, not all rich people, regular people around the country. And after 2.5 years, we raised $6 million on the phone with phone calls.
Jesus
Cold
Christ.
calling people. Imagine you're just here in your house, the phone rings, and it's me trying to get you to invest $60,000 in a movie. And you get hung up on a ton. But it's like, but that one guy says, what's the movie about? You start getting questions, and that got my sales thing kicking in my body because I love sales. And I'm good at sales. I'm good at talking. I could tell people about a movie and how you can make money. And we made good money. We got the movie. The movie came out. It didn't do great, but it's a really good movie for kids, for family movie. That was something that just came out of the blue. But that work gets work. And while I was doing that, you just get your energy back and things start popping. And then I had to do a few more TV shows, a couple of more series with the Reels channel. I'm just sitting down last week with a guy from A&E about a TV show kind of based on my podcast, but not. A little podcast, a little bit of mysteries and scandals type shit where I investigate scandals. I'll leave the podcast and go do something and then finish the show at the podcast again. And he's into it, and we're putting together the show ideas. And so I'm going to start hitting the road again and pitch. I already started, but now we're going to see about getting buyers attached to it. It's a long haul. It takes a while. It may not work out.
I've been sitting on this script. Finally got the script.
Oh, that's a
now.
motherfucker. The scripting is.
I mean, we've got the story. The story is just unbelievable. I'll tell you about it when we're off the air. I mean, because obviously, I don't want.
It's all right. Yeah.
But we finally got the script for the first episode. It's like, now what?
I know.
have no fucking idea. I have no idea what to do.
No,
because I'm not a movie guy.
No, you know what? A guy just today sent me. It's a decent idea. A guy got me on Instagram. He's got the Yulin Dog Festival where dogs get killed and eaten. And he had this animated idea about, one dog that goes back to China and comes back to here to help the dogs there. And I could see kids I don't know what to do with that. Like, he has a script. I go, don't even send me the script, bro. Because I have my own stuff that I can't get made.
Absolutely.
He's out like in Canada. You got to be here. You got to have an agent. Your agent's got to put people in front of you. He's got to help sell it for you. It isn't just like when I worked in TV every day or was at certain restaurants every night. I knew I was in touch with 30 producers. I saw them across the room. I could go grab one and go, hey, what are you doing? Can I see you for... Yeah, come on in, meet me there. That's over. I'm not out anymore. I don't see those guys anymore. And they're all new people now. They're all 27 years old, and I don't know them. And I'm an old guy now. I'm not. You're not AJ from E. You're like, you had that show. You're done. That's the way they think automatically. Yeah. So, just another little thing that people need to know, that to get off your ass and not believe what people say. There's this thing in this town, like, you'll never be able to sell a script if you're over 50, 55, it's done. Like Hollywood just doesn't. But I sold my script. I sold my book script at 56. Maybe 55. You can do it, but if you listen to all these assholes who've never done it tell you shit like that, then it really puts you down. You never want to get off your ass and try something. But it is hard. That's not the hard work of showbiz. It's not when you're up on the screen doing it. That's easy and it's fun. It's the fucking years in between, the days in between when the show's over, and you got to get the next one. And you're not home entertaining offers. You're not big like that. You got to hustle a new idea up.
Yep.
And hustling an idea is like, sometimes I feel like an asshole. I'll be tired at like 6. And my wife knows not to ask why, but she's like, because all day I'm putting 2 shows together in my head, two 45-minute shows, Patreon and a regular show. They can't be the same. I got to have 8 or 9 different stories I can go off on, or maybe an old story that I know that I can really expound on. I got to write for Radar. That's 3 or 4 stories a week. It's just a lot of shit in my head. I got the script, the next book. It's tiring. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in a cab.
Yeah, right.
But it's still a lot of shit to toss around. Like I hear you talking. You're doing stand-up. You got a radio thing. Doing a podcast. That's the new guy. The new guy has like 6 different things that's going on.
Yeah. Well, I had a meeting with Robbie Rist.
I know that name.
Yeah, he was Cousin Oliver from the Brady
Bunch. Oh, that's who it is. Right.
Yeah, but it was just one of those little, here's what you should do type things. He's like, dude, you just need to develop Izzy Presley, and just have, like the band, the country band, acting, and I was in a pilot.
Were
You
you?
know, I was in a pilot last year. Of course, it never came out.
I know.
But, you know, I was in front of the camera.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
I don't have a reel from it because
I don't
it
either.
never came
I know.
out.
I know. I did one called The Neighborhood about Brooklyn, the mob in Brooklyn in the 80s, and great cast. I got a good role. It's been a year, and he said, by Thanksgiving I'll have an answer. The guy who wrote and directed it, I don't know. It's a good mob show with people you know. Nick Totoro, Jimmy Russo. They're people you know. And it's a good, but, you know, it's just, there's a lot more places for TV shows to land, but there's a lot more people putting shit out there.
Yep.
And now, like, I remember 20 years ago at William Morris, my agents would tell me, why don't you come up with a show for the internet, like a 15-minute show? And I remember going, what the fuck? A computer show? I'm on television, bitch. I'm not going to go, are you crazy?
Right.
But back then, all these little assholes were doing that. And now they've got, 30 million people who want to see their next YouTube stupid thing. Like my kids are 15, 11. They don't know. If I asked them what channel is Fox, they wouldn't know what number that is, or CBS. I did it one year. They had what's NBC? 9? It's 4. No clue. But their YouTube and their fucking TikTok and shit I never heard of. And all day, all night, it doesn't bother me because I'm the same way. This is
me too.
When you have this is the Encyclopedia Britannica and Gideon's anything. This is everything in your hand all day. It's hard to drop this. I hate to say it, but it's hard.
It is. First half of the show brought to you by Beater Amplification. Check them out. 2 E's Beeter. Beater Amplification. 100 watts of testicular fortitude, hand-wired, hand-built, 3 channels, fucking amazing. The Izzy Presley TCB1 will be available soon. Check them out. Beater Amplification. We'll be right back, and we're going to get into some mob stuff.
Oh, I love it.
It just intrigues the hell out of me. It is another fucking podcast. AJ Benza in studio. Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor.
Oh, God, Craig Gass fucking rules.
I know Craig. We used to, we did Howard Stern. I know, and it's a shame because, Stern, with the Sirius deal and the new Howard, all the things that were said on that show in its heyday, fag, Jew, retard, it all got edited out. Craig's bits, Gilbert Gottfried, Artie, me to a lesser degree, we've been edited out. And the new shows are in a vault, and Sirius is going to run those till like 2028 or some fucking time. And they're all clean. So classic stuff it sucks. I love Craig. Craig is the master at voices.
How did you get involved with Stern?
As a journalist, just got my gossip column job, and actually I was a fan of his all my life growing up with Don Imus, the whole thing, and I kept hearing he's having a birthday party at Central Park with Tavern on the Green. And this is Howard, like 92, 93, 92. And I said, I got to see this. And he was always talking to Amy Lynn Johnson, this hot penthouse pet who I fucking loved. And the beginning of my gossip career was just me with a big pair of balls. I snuck into Mariah Carey's wedding without knowing anybody.
That's a great story.
And so sneaking into Howard's birthday party was easy after I did Mariah with all the fucking security. Right. And I went in there, I got through. I forget even how I did it, but I ended up in Tavern on the Green. I'm in the room, and that's when Howard had these guys come in. The rock bands would play for him, Jay Giles and all this shit. It was amazing. And I don't know how I first started talking to him. I think once I got the job, he was talking about the column, and I called in one day, and then I said, hey, I snuck into your birthday, and he got a kick out of that. I wish I could find that first call. And then I became, whenever I wanted to call, I called. Then he would just always have me in. And then the famous part was Jackie Martling left. The chair was open, and I had a month there. Craig had a time. Jimmy Kimmel had a chance at it. A few others. And the story was, I don't want to say I was in the lead, but Howard liked me a lot. I'm glad it shouldn't have went to me. It should be a comedian. It should have been Artie, period. But then when he gave it to Artie, it was clear that Artie's the best at that.
Yeah.
It needed to go to a comic, not me. And frankly, at my job, I was still going out every night. I couldn't get up at 5 to go to the fucking radio station. But I had a great time with him, and I love Howard. I must have done the show over 100 times. I don't like the new Howard, but I can't get too mad because the guy gave us so much for so many years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I play like I'm pissed off at him, but really, when I send emails to him, occasionally he'll write back and we'll exchange a memory here and there. And he just did his book tour, and he mentioned my fight with Trump constantly on his every show. He was talking to Stephen Colbert about me and Trump, and Colbert has no idea who I am.
Right.
I got such a kick out of it. I wrote him, and he wrote back, those were the best years. We had such a ball. So I can't get mad at him, but that was the greatest show on earth.
Yeah, we had it in Minneapolis for a very short time.
Oh, you did?
We did. Man. And that's when I heard it. I remember watching his public access show. Or the
Channel 9 show.
Channel 9 show, which
man.
he played in Minnesota for a while.
It did.
It was great.
Wasn't it insane?
It was
like nothing. It was like nothing on TV. It was like nothing on TV.
Yeah.
But, in New York City, when you left that studio, I mean, the fucking construction guys, cabbies would shout your name. I mean, it just was another level of fame or importance. I already was a big shot with the column, and then to get that on top of that, it was the best time. And that's when Howard was taking over. He was beating every radio station systematically and throwing funerals in those towns. And I mean, both his books came out, and Miss America, and he was on top of the world. Yeah. Private Parts. So I was there for all of that. So of course I'm going to lament any other type of Howard. But the guy's in his 60s. He's got the fucking hot wife. He rescues kittens. What am I going to do? How long can I said to him, how long can you throw bologna at a girl's ass and watch it stick and still get a kick out of it?
Yep.
You got to move on.
Yeah, you have to evolve. And he did. It's like, but it's not what his old school fans want.
He should just be the next Larry King or Charlie Rose. He should just have a show. We should see Howard every night on a late night show, not a talk show, one guest and a good interview, maybe once a week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss one.
Yeah. I mean, that's and that's why I love doing the show like I do, because it's a conversation. I don't have a fucking list of questions in front of me, and I fucking hate that.
I don't like it. I don't even do, in the beginning I'd have my nephew on the show with me in the early days. He was in town, and I like it because we have the same beat. We're like two guys on a basketball court, the same jazz. It's like being in a band. He knows when to lay out. I know when, it's easy. But I started to find out, I had a few guests on, some girls. My listeners, because we have all the diagnostics, as soon as someone else is on the show and they start talking, the listenership goes down. It just, and frankly, once in a while, I'd like to have someone on the show with me so I could just kick back and talk instead of just inventing things and stories and going back in my head. It'd be a lot easier. But the numbers just do not bear out. So now
I get it.
It's a compliment, but there are people I could call and say, come to the studio, but it isn't going to help me.
Yeah, no, I get it. One thing I did want to touch on before we get into the mob stuff, we talked about journalism, and now the internet and yada yada yada. When did journalism start to not become journalism? I mean, you look at guys like Perez Hilton, who got famous for drawing dicks on people's faces.
I think that's the beginning of it. I think that was the beginning of the end, when he's sitting in Starbucks or whatever he was doing, drawing dicks on faces, and people were acting like he's the new king of fucking gossip. I mean, what the fuck? Who is this idiot? Who is this idiot? That's when people started to accept pink hair and chubby schlubby boys who were, I don't care if you're gay or not, but there was this new breed of boy who wrote and made fun of people, and it's like, who the fuck are you? They didn't mix it up. They didn't go out and get their bones with people. It was like they were like they were like bullies, and they were picking on girls.
Yeah,
Anyhow, I think that was the beginning of the end. The internet, the blogs, the websites. When people started going to the internet for news instead of the morning paper, it's been a slow death since then. And now it's on the hospital bed. The heart is barely beating. It's gross. Even when you consider these great big stories we've had recently with Ronan Farrow and Catch and Kill and all the fucking Harvey Weinstein shit, there's still a ton of mistakes. There's still a ton of shit that's wrong. I guess it's the best it's going to be, but I'm not a big fan of it. I lament it. I grew up. I learned. Look, I worked. Jimmy Breslin was at the paper. Pete Hamill, the great Pete Hamill, was my editor in chief. So many other names that you wouldn't know who I mean, but city people in New York know the names: Mark Kriegel, Mike Lupica, Major Mike McAlary, giants. Those guys, some of them have internet columns now, but the readership used to be 1 million. Now, who knows who the fuck is tuning in? Well, I've written for internet sites. At least with my podcast, I can see how many people download. Yeah. But when I've written for internet sites, I don't know who's reading my shit. I don't know if I'm writing for 10 people or 10,000. I used to write for 1 million every day, and that was a great feeling. And my stories had to be vetted by my editor above me, the lawyers after them. We couldn't go anywhere until lawyers looked at our column, and I miss those days. I'm sure it's still happening, but not when you see things that are happening at the New York Times and NBC, killing stories, burying stories. Can't write about Epstein, can't write about Weinstein. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It's almost, and I'm not getting political here because it's just a rabbit hole. We just don't need to go
We don't
down.
need to. But I'll tell you something. It got even bigger when Trump won. Because now everybody who would be looking at the press, the watchdogs, are just after Trump. The media is just after him. They're not on each other. They're not helping each other keep up their game. And it's like we have the more media, and we have a Congress that's doing one thing, chasing him down, and the media is chasing him down, and nothing else is really getting done. That's really important, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, all you got to do is look at fucking downtown Los Angeles.
It's disgusting.
It's sad.
Can you believe this? Sad. And those are the people who are telling us how we should live the next election, what it should be. And it's like, would you clean up the fucking people? 60,000 homeless, needles in the street, dogs are stepping in human shit in San Francisco. And you want to tell us you're going to do without some things in 2020, and we're going to do that? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Second half of the show brought to you by A&P Productions Laser Engraving. AJ, these guys are so good they can laser engrave a hot dog bun.
I love it.
They do a lot of work with the military and the police up in central Minnesota, getting their sidearms done and getting their cuffs done and all kind of shit. Check them out. A&P Productions Laser Engraving. Also, John Palumbo Design. Love us some John Palumbo over here. You have a band, you have a website, you have a business, you need a logo, you need a website. Hit up John Palumbo over at johnpalumbodesign.com. We only have a few more minutes left because I know you're on a tight schedule. You got a couple shows.
Only because I got 2 shows to do, and my kids are home. My wife's out with a girlfriend down in Anaheim tonight doing some charity thing. But yeah, no problem. I can hang a little bit. You want to talk mob?
Yeah, I want to talk the mob because now you have a very interesting background because your dad was...
My dad was an undercover treasury agent, like Elliot Ness kind of shit, undercover. So he chased Joey Gallo. He chased the Profacis. He had a storied background of late 50s, early 60s of undercover work.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And didn't your mom have
My mom's side was mafia. My mom... my mom's uncle was a gangster named Happy Mayone. He died in the electric chair in 48, Sing Sing. He was a killer from Meyer Lansky. He was in Murder Incorporated. You could look him up. He's got great stories. He dressed as a chick to whack guys and everything. I really got into him the last 10 years. I met a guy who was really into mob lore, and he had great stories about We call him Uncle Happy. Obviously, I never met him, but he's a really crazy. He's a legendary mobster with the Meyer Lansky, Louis Lepke, and all those crazy bastards. So that was like an interesting thing. My father eventually had to leave the force because he was living with my mother's mother. They were living there as young married couple. And then whenever the feds would run license plate checks, because my grandmother would make pasta and her homemade wine, and the local mobsters would come over and they'd eat at mom's. She'd feed them pasta. She would salt the pasta so they'd buy more wine. And that was a little earn. And the license plate checks would come back, and they'd say, "How come this is coming back to Al Benza's address? This is no good." And he would explain to them, "My mother-in-law cooks for the local guy." It didn't work. He could never escape it. Then he made the biggest bust in New York's history in '58. It was a $2 million bust, but that was the biggest one back then. A guy named Solly Gelb, who used to run heroin for Waxy Gordon. I was looking, I swear to God, I know this story for so many years. Obviously, I have the newspaper clippings at home. I lost them in a move. I was heartbroken. There was a picture of my father in front of all the drugs that were confiscated and the criminal with him, a gray-haired Jewish guy with the cuffs on. Everybody had top hats and fucking fedoras.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I lost the picture. And one day I'm Googling. I Googled Solly Gelb, the name of the convict, and And the DEA has a website. On that website, on Google, is a ton of pictures from all sorts of bootlegging, prohibition. The picture of my father with Solly Gelb and a story about who this guy was. And they don't mention my father's name because he was on the cover, but he's in the picture. This happened a year ago. Blew my mind. Thank the internet. It's unbelievable. So, yeah. But then I had that in my head as a kid. And I had mobsters over the house telling me stories. Like, I heard every story. And then in the early 80s, my cousin Albert worked for John Gotti before Gotti was anybody. He was a soldier. And I was, to cut a long story short, I was involved with a sports tout industry where I told gamblers who to bet on. They gave me a percentage of what they won. Their bookies would pay them. They'd pay me. It was a big thing in the 80s in New York. Sports tout business. They're big again now. But I had a bookie. I had a guy who lost his bookie. I needed a bookie for him so I could make money. I called my cousin Albert. Can we take this guy in? He goes, I'll talk to John in Queens. John in Queens is John Gotti. I met John. He said, yeah, bring him in. And this guy was losing big money, 15 grand, 30 grand. And they were happy with me because I brought him in. So John said to me, I'll give you half of anybody else you bring in. I'll give you half of what they pay us the first week they lose. That's called half sheet. So I did that for a few months. And then suddenly there's a murder in New York City. Paul Castellano's assassinated. John Gotti's the boss. It was like no one could believe this. Like the guy I knew in Queens who I'd hand the money to, that's John Gotti. Now he's the boss. And I went to his trials. That's when I just started working for Newsday as a journalist. Yeah. I covered his trials. He liked me around. I was with Sammy the Bull, Jackie the Knowles, all these fucking guys. And then when I was in New York and I was a columnist, I was around the Genovese family because those guys own the nightclubs. And I ran clubs for them on the side of being a journalist, which is not really something you should do. But I threw parties in nightclubs and they gave me a cut. Whatever the fuck. But I met them all. I've been around mobsters for so long. What I got to tell people, I just saw The Irishman and, Donnie Brasco, all these movies. They get that shit so right. The thing they get right is when a mobster tells you, you're around me now. Nobody could bother you. That feeling, I was already I thought who the fuck I was. I got a column in the Daily News. I'm on TV. Now I got a mobster telling me you're around me. No one can bother you. Forget it. You couldn't fucking go near. Invincible. It eventually comes to an end. Something goes wrong, and you got to answer to something. And then those guys who are your friends, buying you drinks, the girls, the broads, and when they're fucking mad at you, oh my God, is it scary? They don't. The nightclub you walk in every night, and hey AJ, whoa, the drinks, the grappa, the fucking. You walk in one night, and it's just stares, and it's just they don't take their fucking eyes off you. I know because my buddy Chico was involved and he used the wrong name and it got back to me because I vouched for him, all this mafia shit. And I said to this guy, Joey, who was a mafia guy, I said, what the fuck do I do? He said, don't change your routine. Go to the joint. If you don't go to the joint, they're going to come after you. Go there. Take what's coming to you. You might get it beaten. Like he's just talking like no big deal. The guys who love you are going to beat you. That's what. But they didn't. They beat my buddy Chico bad. They didn't go after me, I guess because I was good for them and I was a journalist. It would have been bad. But they let me know, certainly, your friend fucked up and you vouched for him.
Do you think that?
They're all dead, by the way. Now,
Oh, yeah,
they're
of course. And just before I ask you this question, I think if there's a movie about the Chin,
Vinny the Chin,
it's got to be fucking Adam Carolla. He looks just fucking like him.
Isn't that funny? Doesn't he?
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
But what I do want to ask you is, do you think America has a healthy romanticism about the mafia?
Always. Yeah, I think it comes down to, well, there's still, I think it's slowly going away because the generations that the purple pants, what the fuck's happening to guys? Purple pants on TV. I'm looking at Michael Strahan with purple pants at an NFL game. Everybody's becoming a girl. I can't stand it. Wear a fucking brown suit and a black suit, purple fucking pants. All right. No, the generation who brought us the mafia and all those stories, they're on the way out. And this newer I'm the last generation, I think, that can tell you about the old mobsters and what they were like. And I still have a fascination and appreciation. The people after me don't know. So it's going to go away. But yeah, for many years we did. Scorsese's probably not going to make another gangster film. The Irishman is a fucking masterpiece.
Good to know.
That's the thing you got to see. I'm sure you've seen all the other ones, but don't not see this one. 3.5 hours. It'll go by quick. It's phenomenal. Yeah, there is a romantic aspect of it. And, I think secretly guys love it because guys want to be powerful, and ladies love it because the one thing about the mafia, they always make ladies feel wonderful. I hate to say it sound like, I know they're crazy motherfuckers, but when they're around women, when I worked at when I was at the nightclub and these guys owned the nightclub, the Genovese's, and I had my girlfriend behind the bar, and there's like 6 beautiful girls behind the bar. Those girls were treated like gold. No one can go near them. The bonuses they got, guys like Joe Watts, who was involved in the hit on Castellano. If my girlfriend walked a scotch and soda to Joe, she got $100. His buddy, whatever his name was, gave her $100. Tough Tony. These guys, when they come into joints in New York City, people pay their rent for the month because they came into the nightclub. I've seen Joe Watts come in and go to my buddy Chico, how many guys are working security tonight? And she goes, we got 7 guys on. Let me take a knot out and just start fucking peeling hundreds. Here's 4,000, spread it around. And like people pay their rent because Joe showed up. The bartenders are all happy because they don't stress anymore. Joe showed up. So yeah, that's gone. It's almost gone. But there's still people who remember that. We're in our 50s now. There's a lot of glamour to it. And women loved them because they protected them.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the Bloods and the Crips.
Oh, God. It's fucking scary. Yeah, the mafia tends not to shoot up the street and, errant bullets striking a 4-year-old girl in her crib. That kind of shit doesn't really happen. They want you, they come get you, they shoot you at close range. The message is sent, and that's that.
Yeah. Just before we go here, Jacoba says this is one of the best interviews you've had.
Oh, cool.
Fuck yes. And and Bruce from Canada goes, it's no better up here. Don Cherry just got fired this week.
I talked about that. It's this fucking bullshit.
I know.
The guy's been around forever, and he says, buy a poppy. Well, he said you people. You can't say you people. But he's 85. He should have gotten a pass. 85. For an 85-year-old guy to still be on TV every night talking hockey at top of his game, you can't say you people. And he did, and the new fucking idiots, they can't have those people around. It's a shame. But not for nothing. 85's a good run. If I were him, I'd check out. It's only going to get worse, Don.
I know, but as a hockey fan,
I understand. It's terrible. He's the guy. But It's only going to get worse.
AJ, dude, this is a blast, and I knew we would only scratch the surface.
All right, I'll come back.
All right, anytime, man.
I'll come see a fight over at the house.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah. People want to find your podcast.
Fame as a Bitch. It's you just go to iTunes, or it's easy to find. Fame as a Bitch. I'm off Twitter. They threw me off because I talked about radical Islam. They didn't like that.
Oh, shit, I didn't know
I said they throw gays off rooftops, and they sometimes like bestiality, but the Instagram, Twitter didn't like it. But I'm on Instagram. Real AJ Benza on Instagram. I'm sorry, it's real for a reason. I don't fucking pull punches when you're talking about sick people.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, too, because
it's
unscripted, uncensored,
unfiltered on everything. I love it.
I fucking love it. And your book is available?
Yeah, 74 and Sunny's available. It's not like the guy you hear on the podcast. It's a very sensitive book, but it's sweet. It's brilliant. If you love family and you love Italian Americans, and if you grew up in the 70s, you'll dig it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure, man.
Make sure you guys do hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. And, of course, the show page is Another Effing Podcast. If you guys want to donate, izzypresley at yahoo.com is your PayPal. T-shirts available for this and act a tribute to Ace Frehley, my Ace Frehley tribute band. See everybody on Thursday night at the Graft. And next Thursday, a week from tonight, it's going to be a great show. Then the following Wednesday at Lucky Strike for Soundcheck Live. The premier All-Star Jam, the monthly show. It is fucking great. No cover. Hollywood and Highland. Come on down. What else do we got? I think on Tuesday night I'm celebrating my 300th show. I
just did the same thing. Good for you.
I don't know who my guest is going to be, but I'll figure it out. My name is Izzy Presley. That's AJ Benza. Don't forget, what I lack in talent, I make up for in cock.